Hello, Aries, and welcome to this, your April 15th through April 30th reading and predictions. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we dive into your reading, let's just take a quick look back at your last reading covering the time frame April 1st through the 15th. We've just come through some really, really powerful energies, including the eclipse on the 8th. Including a comet flying past our planet, Mercury going retrograde. So, some pretty powerful energies. And as well, I wanted to ask you, Aries, if you wouldn't mind sharing down below what happened to you on the 10th of April. Was there something big, something significant, something that made you have one of those aha moments? Because in your last reading, you had three tens come out during your reading, indicating that the 10th was going to be a very important day for you. Let's dive into your reading. Please watch this video all the way until the end. There's two reasons for this. First of all, I need the extra watch hours in order to get monetized. Yep, shameless plug here. And the second reason is that many of us walk through our lives asking yes, no questions. Is he the right guy for me? Is she the right girl for me? Do I take the job on the other side of the country? Do I keep my house? Do I buy the new house? Do I move? All of these questions come up for so many of us. So, if you're willing to put your trust in a general reading and this itty bitty little deck of cards, at the end of this video, we will be pulling yes, no answers for you. All right, Aries, let's dive in. The last reading I did for you, like I said, the tens were prominent, including the 10 of wands, indicating that you had been carrying around some burdens, perhaps burdens that were not even yours to carry around. I'm just looking at my decks here. Where am I being called for your first cards? Let's take a look at where you're at now. What's going on for the Aries? Where are the Aries? Middle of the month. All right. Apparently, Osho Zen didn't want to talk to us this morning. We gave the indication. We'll go through this one more time. They might be at the other end of the deck. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Anything else for Aries? What's going on with Aries right now, middle of April, after all of these exciting energies? Let's take a look. Playfulness and clinging to the past. Playfulness and clinging to the past. Mhm. So, the playfulness card corresponds to the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is a card that involves the energy of playfulness, obviously, some naivety, some perhaps what could be described as immaturity, and just the ability to really, really live in the present moment and pay attention to what's going on around you. This is actually a really beautiful card for you to start out your reading here, Aries. And the other card that we have is not such a beautiful card if you look at the picture on it. It does correspond to the Five of Cups and it corresponds to clinging to the past. Now, this is the card that I like to refer to as the Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk card. People are like, what do you mean, don't cry over spilled milk? So, in the traditional tarot, if you look at the Five of Cups, the character on the card is a cloaked figure and he is staring forlornly at three cups of spilled liquid directly in front of him. But what he doesn't recognize, that what the character doesn't recognize, is that directly behind him are two more cups that are filled to the brim with overflowing abundance. But he is concentrating on the negative, he's concentrating on the past, he's all consumed with the most recent loss, rather than recognizing that all he has to do is change his perspective a little bit and recognize that the abundance is still there. So that's the energies that you are coming into the latter half of April with, Aries. this playfulness, while at the same time, this looking at the past and mourning something from the past. So let's dive into what you are focusing on and where you are putting your energies for the latter half of the month. Anything else for what the Aries are focusing on? Yep, there's another one. Okay. All right, we have the Eight of Swords, which is an accountability card. We have the Ten of Pentacles, and we have the Devil coming in for you. So let's start in the order in which the cards came out. The first card that came out for you for what you are focusing on is the Eight of Swords. Now, some people look at this card and say, oh, no, that's not a card of accountability. It's a card of feeling like you're trapped. Absolutely. It is absolutely a card of feeling like you're trapped. But you have to look at the reasons why you are feeling like you're trapped. On this particular card, you can notice that her wrists are bound. Her eyes are blindfolded. She is surrounded by swords and unable to escape her situation. Many of us feel like that often. Mercury is currently retrograde. Can you tell? Because my camera keeps going in and out of focus. Very frustrating, but we'll deal with it. We'll just live with it. All right, so with this Eight of Swords, this is the card of taking a good hard look at the situations in our lives where we feel like we are trapped and then beginning to try and figure out how we, in our own power, taking back our own power, living in the present moment, are going to be able to escape from a situation that we currently find uncomfortable or unpleasant. This is about accountability. I'm going to be controversial here, Aries. It is what it is. This is the card, this Eight of Swords, is the card of someone who says, oh my God, I hate my life. I'm in such a horrible relationship. My partner is this terrible person who lies and cheats, and I hate my life. And your friends say, so leave. Oh no, I can't. I'm trapped. I have to stay. Why do you have to stay? What are your reasons? Take a really, really good hard look at those reasons. Okay? That's what this card is all about. Some people will say, oh, I feel trapped in my job. I don't like my job. It doesn't pay me enough, but I'm trapped here. Okay, why don't you just quit and find another job? Well, the company would fall apart without me. Wait, what? You hate your job. You hate the company that you're working for. You feel that they are not treating you fairly, and yet you're staying out of a sense of duty and obligation to them because you're afraid that they'll fall apart without you. This is the type of energy that comes in with the Eight of Swords, where someone comes in and they basically poke holes at all of your reasoning to stay in an untenable situation. This is not a card saying that you are absolutely stuck in an untenable situation, Aries. This is a card asking you as you move through the latter half of April to look at situations in your life that you're thinking, that's not really working for me the way I thought it was going to work. How can I make changes and make my life better? That's what this card is all about. And that moves us into focusing on the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is a super, super positive card. This is a card of saying, I have achieved exactly what I wanted to achieve. I have the partner of my dreams, the family of my dreams, the dog, the 2.5 kids, the white picket fence, and the job of my dreams. This is like the card of I have arrived, things are good in my life. This card and the Ten of Cups have very similar meaning. This card goes one step beyond the Ten of Cups, which is all those angels singing down on your white picket fence. And this card says, as much as you feel like you are coming into this place of having everything that you ever wanted to achieve, also make sure you're putting money away for a rainy day. It's that simple. right? Plan for tomorrow, live for today. Let me repeat that. Plan for tomorrow, live for today in the present moment, and really, really recognize and acknowledge all that you currently have in your life, Aries. And then finally, what you are focusing on is the devil. Now, the devil is about temptation and ego. If we are looking at trying to manifest this big, beautiful house and this perfect life and all sorts of abundance, which is fine, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we are doing so from a place of ego rather than a place of authenticity and accountability with this Eight of Swords. The universe is going to look at you and go, yeah, I don't think so. Okay. So, this card in your focus asks you to explore your motivations behind wanting to focus on this Ten of Pentacles. Do you want the big, beautiful house because you legitimately want that big, beautiful house? Or do you want that house because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and you're looking over the fence going, I want what they've got because it's better than what I have? Because if that's what you're doing, you're coming from a place of ego. And when you come from a place of ego, what happens? The universe says, oh, they are coming from a place of lack. They're coming from a place of, I don't have because I'm craving and yearning what they have. And the universe gives you more of what you are lacking. Does that make sense? Okay. So, as much as this may sound like it's extremely negative, having the Eight of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Devil in what you are focusing on, it's not actually negative. What you are actually focusing on at this time, Aries, are huge, huge lessons, life lessons, what could be referred to as soul lessons. Okay. Having that deep dive and exploration into your relationship with the material world and making sure that what you want is coming from a place of authenticity and making sure that you are being fully accountable in your life, those are big lessons. And when you do a deep dive into those, your spiritual growth, your emotional growth, your psychological growth is going to just expand exponentially. Let's take a look at difficult influences and what might be blocking you from doing this deep dive into your authentic self. Difficult influences and challenges, possible blocks for Aries diving into ego. And we just have one card that has leapt out for us. Oh my goodness, you're not going to believe this. You are not going to believe this. You have the devil again. You have the devil again. Aries twice. Temptation and ego, authenticity. Okay. Make sure this is in your difficult influences and your challenges in relation to what you are focusing on. What you're focusing on is taking a deep dive into your own authentic self. And the devil is coming along and tempting you. How are you going to react to this? See, when we do authenticity work, when we do ego work, when we take a good hard look at ourselves and sit in judgment of ourselves, I wouldn't be surprised if the judgment card comes up later. But when we do that work, this guy, Mr. Temptation and Ego, loves to show up and try and pull us off the path and put us back into this feeling like we are trapped. And you know what? Really, the devil also helps us to come up with the excuses that make us feel like this. That information is fed to us. Okay. Oh, you're not going to feel like you're enough until you have all of this material stuff. When in actual fact, you don't want that big house because you're going to have to clean the damn thing. You're going to spend most of your life cleaning and tidying up that big house. Perhaps you'd rather have the simpler life. Okay? Get real this month, Aries, with what it is you want without outside influences. Let's take a look at messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. Okay, your first message the universe wants you to hear is death is an illusion. Yeah, death is an illusion. So, the same way that physical death of our bodies is an illusion, my lighting just went way off. The same way that death, there we go, is an illusion with regards to our physical bodies because our soul goes on. Remember that as you let go of certain aspects of yourself, of what you thought you wanted, because what you thought you wanted was based on a belief system that we need more material stuff or something along those lines. You recognize that you can allow that part of yourself that was craving more and more material wealth instead of, there goes my camera again, instead of living authentically with what you have. That is a really powerful lesson. So, death is an illusion. The other message the universe wants you to hear right now is like attracts like. Let's go back to this devil, to the material wealth thing that is coming up. Okay. If you are working towards being more authentic, Aries, being more real and more true to yourself, and yet you are still craving and chasing after material gain and material wealth, you are then surrounding yourself with others who will put material gain and material wealth ahead of having a deeply authentic and meaningful friendship with you. Like attracts like. So if you are surrounding yourself with people who are materialistic and inauthentic, like attracts like. If you want authenticity in your life, you're going to have to go out and have friends and family members who are being authentic back to you and reflecting back to you that which you are putting out into the world. Okay. Really, really tough lessons here, Aries, but also deeply meaningful when you have the opportunity to fully embrace these big lessons. Because I can actually speak from experience, and I am going to speak from experience here just for a moment, Aries, that when I was in school, for example, I wanted to be one of the popular girls. I went out, I cut my hair like the popular girls, despite the fact that I absolutely hated that style on myself and I hated having to style my hair. I went out and I spent a small fortune on makeup so that I could look like the popular girls. But I didn't like putting it on, and in fact, I never really learned how to put it on properly. Those same girls were doing similar things. They were not being authentic or true to themselves. And so friendships with them were very fickle. They were quite meaningless. Gossip and rumors were common. Catfighting. Oh, he said, she said. Do you see what I mean? When we're not being authentic and true to ourselves, we attract other people who are also not being authentic and true to themselves. And it's hard to have the deep, meaningful relationships that we all really want and crave as human beings when we are surrounding ourselves with people who are not being authentic. Let's pull cards for what is unexpected for you. What is coming up that is unexpected for the Aries latter half of April, please? All right. We had two cards pop out at the exact same moment. We had the Moon and the Knight of Wands. Hmm. It's interesting that you started out your reading here with the Page of Wands, and throughout the month, the latter half of April, you moved into the energy of the Knight of Wands, which is sort of like leveling up. Um, the Knight of Wands is still an unpredictable character. He's not nearly as naive and impulsive as the page. And the page, as this card points out, is quite playful. But the knight is extremely ambitious. And so when the knight hears that there are certain soul lessons that they need to be learning, the knight really, really picks up on that, runs with it, dives deeply into whatever they're doing. They embrace whatever they're doing. So that is the Knight of Wands. This is what the card looks like. You have the Queen of Pentacles coming in. Queen of Pentacles, of course, is the richest queen in the deck. She is a generous character, but she achieved her financial wealth by being sensible to achieve where she is at. She was very smart with her money. She was not frivolous with her money. And she is she's not afraid to take her financial future into her own hands and be assertive about her financial future, Aries. And finally, in your unexpected, you have the moon coming up. Now, the moon is about paying attention to your dreams, pay attention to in, intuitive insights that are coming up for you. And the other thing that the moon reminds us of is that everything that we are experiencing, that we go through in life, including learning these difficult lessons about authenticity, temptation, ego, exploring our relationship to the material world, is a phase or a stage. The same way that the moon phases into being a full moon, phases out into new moon, there is this constant state of flux or change when the moon appears, and it is our reminder that anything that we are experiencing at this time is a stage or a phase. So if it is uncomfortable with the devil coming up twice with his temptations towards, being inauthentic, know that that is a stage or a phase. And when you internalize that lesson, when you really learn that lesson, when you move into your authenticity, Aries, then the moon will help you to move into a new phase, new energies. Let's pull cards for your final general overall outcome, and then we're going to pull your yes, no cards. Final general overall outcome for Aries for the latter half of April. I would also like to say that if this reading so far has resonated deeply for you, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button and hitting the subscribe button as well, it would be greatly appreciated. It really does help the channel. I'd like to thank you for watching all the way until the end. And let's get started. In your final general overall outcome, oh my goodness. Oh, there's a card here that I predicted earlier in this reading that it was going to come out, and it just did. That is the Judgment card, and it is the final card in your reading. But in your final general overall outcome, you have the High Priestess. High Priestess is about tapping into our intuition in a deep, deep, deep way. And not just tapping into the intuition, but taking action on the information that we get intuitively. You have a double confirmation about stages and phases and paying attention to your dreams. You have the moon again. Okay, this is the second appearance of the moon in your reading here, Aries, in your outcome. Next, you have the Hierophant. I am actually shocked because um, you have four major arcana that have just come out. So you have the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is coming in at the end of April in order to move you into leveling up, move you into accountability, move you into the habit of looking at yourself, as well as the Judgment card being right here as well. Move you into the habit of looking at yourself, move you into this authenticity, move you into the lessons of realizing you have the ability and capacity to have your own belief systems. The Hierophant, Aries, is about looking at the institutions in our lives, be that the family institution, societal institution, religious institution, educational institution, the workplace, the institution of the workplace where we go every day, or the people that we work with every day. The Hierophant asks us to look at what belief systems we may have adopted from family, society, education, and so on. What belief systems have we adopted that really were not true to us? They were not authentic to us. Explore that. That's what you're going to be moving into for the month of May. And that requires you to sit in judgment of self, along with the devil coming up twice, the Eight of Swords coming in. There is a whole lot of Aries right now having an opportunity to really delve deeply into themselves. This is following the realization that you were perhaps carrying around somebody else's burdens. Somebody else was trying to throw their burdens onto you, and you're going, I don't know if I'm going to carry those around anymore. Those aren't mine. You've moved up, you're leveling up here, Aries, and it is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity and learning and lesson and wow. So I'm going to leave off your reading there. We're going to move into your yes, no. Again, please hit that like button if this resonated. And as well, if you are interested in delving deeper into your own personal situation, my contact details are down below and I am available for private consultations. All right. Bring to mind your yes, no question, Aries. Yes or no for the Aries? Yes or no? We're just going to mix until we get one card flipping out for us. One card for the Aries, please. Oh, where are we going with this? What's going to happen? Yeah, that's not one card. One card for the Aries, please. Nope, that's two cards. There we go. We have the one card that's fallen out. Aries, in response to your question, your yes, no question, the answer that the cards are giving you is let it go. Just let go. Let go. If you are fully attached to an outcome and your outcome isn't necessarily in full alignment with the lessons you're currently learning, let go. Let go. All right, Aries, thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and I look forward to having the opportunity to do your next reading at the beginning of May.